Hi everybody, I'm Amy from the Cauldron, and in this episode of Dye Time I'm going to be dyeing this 100 gram skein of yarn. It is Superwash Sock Sparkle in DK, and it is 78% superwash merino, 20% nylon and 2% stellina. And I'm going to be dyeing it with these two packet drinks today. The Kool-Aid is cherry flavour and it's got red 40 colouring in, which is Allura Red AC, and the E number is 129. And this Clover Valley Orange drink mix has red 40 again, and it's got yellow 6, which is Sunset Yellow, E number 110. Now both of these, the first ingredient, citric acid and citric acid. So I don't need to add any extra acid in these because there is enough in these packets. So I'm going to go with the Clover Valley because it's got the two colours in. I have put on the glove on the hand that I'm going to be using to speckle with because try hopefully to not get any colours on my fingers. Now this is dry, this yarn. And the reason for that is I want to try doing some a type of dyeing that I've been interested in but have never actually managed to do it before, get the timing right, and that's doing some rain dyeing. So I'm going to use rain as the water for this yarn. I might not even need the red Kool-Aid. I might just carry on using this Clover Valley one. I have suspended the yarn in this little tray over my dedicated dye pot, dye saucepan even. I have not decided yet whether I will heat set this low immersion or steam set it yet. I'm going to wait and see how the yarn looks after it's been out in the rain. It's been raining all day today and it's forecast to rain for the rest of the day. But knowing my luck, it's going to stop raining the second I put this outside. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to use the red Kool-Aid. I'm just going to stick with this orange one. Some of the powder is falling through, but it doesn't look like it's too much. Now I mentioned that this is a dedicated dyeing pan. This is a drink mix, so it is food safe. So you could use this in saucepans that you use to prepare food with. I just find it easier to keep my stuff separate. And the saucepan that I would use is probably quite greasy. I don't really want that getting all on my yarn, so I'm gonna stick with my dyeing saucepan, which is probably a lot cleaner. Right, I have put a fair bit of powder in this. There still is some left in there. I'm going to keep that now just to see. I might need it later on, so I'm just going to keep that, put that to one side. And now I'm going to put this outside in the rain. It's quite windy as well, so I'm really hoping that that's not going to blow all this powder away. This could be a complete disaster, but I'll try and get this in somewhere that's fairly sheltered. And typically I've put this outside and it has stopped raining. The clouds it still looks like it's going to rain. The clouds are still quite dark and it's very windy. So wish me luck. I'm going to leave this out here. I'll come back once this either has been soaked with the rain or I've given up and decided to use my kitchen instead. This has been sitting out in the rain for probably about 2 hours now, and it's mostly damp. There's sort of the bits on top are very wet. Let's have a little look underneath. It's not really, the dye hasn't really come through. There's a little bit of dye there. But what I'm going to do now is flip it, try and expose some more of this try and expose some more of the white. I don't mind if there is white left over, but I don't want there to be too much white. But the rest of this powder I'm going to use on here. Actually, there isn't really that much left. I haven't seen any breaking in this. I think the yellow colour in this, if it's used in high amounts, it looks very orange, I think. So I'm guessing that the yellow is the main colour in here, and the red is just there a little bit to make it a bit more orange. I'm just going to spread it out like this now. I still haven't decided if I'm going to steam set this or low immersion set it. I don't know. Let's see if I can get some over here. Trying to just separate some of this. So I'm hoping that there's colour everywhere. If there isn't, I have more of these drinks packets. I can use a bit more if I need to. I really want to just, see, I've got this on my fingers. I'm just going to try and get some of it off onto the yarn. I think I'm probably just spreading more onto my fingers actually. There we go. Let's put this back outside. This has been sitting in the shed over the weekend. We had a very windy weekend and it's pretty dry actually. I don't think it's wet at all. I love how it's sort of speckled on this side, and underneath got these beautiful big patches of colour. I really like how this has turned out, and if we have a look through, it looks like we've got pretty good coverage. So I'm going to just add one of my zip ties on this. There is now colour on my fingers, and you can see there's a little bit of colour in here, but not too much. So what I'm going to do now is pop this in my steam basket, and I'm going to steam this for probably about 40-45 minutes, and then I'll hang it up to dry. This yarn has completely cooled down now, so let's give it a little wash. I didn't notice any colour running off of this when I took it out of the steam basket, and it doesn't look like there's any colour coming out of this now, which is fantastic. I'm going to add a little bit of washing up liquid, because in these drink powders it's not just food colouring and citric acid, there's all sorts of preservatives and stuff in there that I don't want in the yarn that we need to wash out. So it doesn't look like there is any colour coming out of this at all, which makes me really, really happy. Fantastic. So I'm going to give this a couple of extra washes just to get rid of all the extra ingredients that's in the drinks packet, and then I can hang this out to dry. This yarn has been a little bit tricky. I did leave it to soak in some water for a while, and then when I came back I noticed the water was orange. So I washed it a few more times. It was still orange, so I heat set it again in the microwave, let it cool down, washed it out, and it was still bleeding orange. So now I am trying to heat set it for a third time in this kettle, and there is a ton of vinegar in there already, so fingers crossed this actually works this time. I left this in the heat for probably about an hour now, and then let this cool down overnight, and it looks like finally the water has cleared. But it means that the beautiful speckles that we had are now gone, and this is a lovely orange, but this is certainly not what I had originally dyed. So a little bit disappointing there, but at least I managed to get all the dye to, all the dye to set to the yarn. Just a little bit of washing up liquid. Oh, and when I put this in the kettle to dye, I added a ton of vinegar. I didn't measure out how much, I just squirted in loads of vinegar. I really hope that this is going to be the final time I wash this. Oh, and it looks like there's some water, some colour coming out. A little bit, right. Yeah, I did add some soap to try and get rid of any extra that we don't want in there, but get rid of the vinegar smell. There still is a little bit of colour coming out of this. This is not how I had hoped this would go, and I've never had this much trouble with food colouring before. I've never used that specific drink packet, but I thought it would be similar to Kool-Aid. You can see all that colour's coming out. Okay, I'm just going to leave this to soak. A little bit of washing up liquid. Just going to leave this to soak for a little while, and then I'll come back. Hopefully there's not too much colour coming out. I'm getting very annoyed with this now. I've never had to set something 3 times and then still have bleeding. See, there is colour coming out. All right. Yeah, I'm just going to leave this to soak for now. Okay, this is really starting to annoy me now because I've been washing it and washing it, washing it. I've heat set it 3 times, and you can see there is still colour coming out of this. So I'm going to try one last thing. I have here my pot, and it's got cold water in it. Put that in there. And I'm going to add another skein to try and soak up some of that liquid. Now I just wanted to point out that there is a slight mark on this, but that's not going to affect anything, I don't think. This yarn is the same base as this. It's the Superwash Merino sock, Superwash Merino nylon sock, sparkle sock, and you can see it's dry. Putting it in there. This is, well, about body temperature water, I'd say. I can comfortably stick my hands in. Put them in together. I wonder if that's a bit too much water. I might just get rid of a tiny bit of that. Now for the vinegar. 1, 6, let's go with 6 tablespoons. And I just hope some of the colour from this orange gets absorbed by this one. And if it doesn't, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is the very last thing that I can think of. So I'm going to let this come up to a simmer and then leave it for a good 30-40 minutes at least. This has been bubbling away for about an hour now. And there still is colour in there. But you can see that these two look pretty similar now. So I'm going to take this off the heat. I'm going to take this out of the pot to let it cool down, and hopefully this will be the very last time I'll have to wash this yarn. Now this yarn I let cool down completely, and it has been soaking in water with some soap overnight, probably over 12 hours I would say, and it looks like I might finally have stopped the bleeding. Now, these two, they are so similar in colour. That one is slightly lighter, so I'm guessing that's the one I put in second, but oh my gosh, this has been a challenge and a half. I certainly used far too much food colouring in this. So I'm just going to put in a little bit more washing up liquid. Really give it a good wash. There may be the tiniest hint of orange coming out of this, but it could just be my imagination because I'm just so worried about this bleeding. But it certainly does not look like it did. So think I might finally be able to say, I'm done with this. I can hang it on the line to dry. Yeah, there's a tiny, tiny bit of orange, but compared to what it was, I'm happy with this now. And the fact that this was in soaking in water for well over 12 hours tells me that I think this is fine now. I'm going to rinse it a couple more times to hopefully get everything out. I'm so glad this yarn is superwash because it's taken such a beating. I think I would have felted it if it was non-superwash. Yeah, I'm happy with this now. There's the tiniest hint of orange. I think you can barely see it. That I'm happy with. I can now go and hang this up on the line to dry. And here is my finished rain dyed yarn. And there's the extra skein of yarn I ended up using to try and soak up some of that extra dye. If we look at them together, there is not much of a difference between them. This one is a bit lighter. I'm not sure how well this is coming across on camera. It's not, there really isn't that much difference. If you use these two in a project, then I wouldn't recommend that you went straight from one skein to the other because there is a difference. Bring it up close to the camera, you can see this top one is slightly darker. So if you use these two together, I would recommend maybe alternating every couple of rows, and you get a very, very subtle stripe effect, which could be quite cool actually. The sparkle is still there. It might not be quite as sparkly as this one in the second skein that I used, but I think this is a really gorgeous colour, and I have now learnt that packet of drink packet is a lot more potent than Kool-Aid, so I will not be using an entire packet on one skein again. Unfortunately, because I had to keep heat setting and washing again to try and get rid of all that excess dye, we have lost the speckle effect that the rain produced on this. It's still two gorgeous skeins of yarn, but they are very much tonal, semi-solid type yarns. I would never say that they are solids because it's hand dyed, and I just cannot produce a completely solid skein of yarn the way that factories can. But this is probably about certainly this one is about as solid as I can make it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please click like and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this video. I have done rain dyeing again, and I used different dyes. Here's a quick sneak peek. That video will be coming out soon. I don't know when. After this one at some point. Keep your eye out for those. I publish a new dyeing tutorial every Monday around 6 PM UK time, so make sure you've got those notifications turned on so you never miss a new video. Thank you so much for watching.